Uh, I'm Vishal Shrivastava. I head the digital marketing strategy for AnyMind Group. And yep, very well, warm welcome to all of you for the DATAMATIXX 2025. I have with me Anand Chakravarthy, who is the Chief Growth Officer for Omnicom Media Group, and Jahid, who is the Senior Vice President for HDFC Bank. So both Anand and Jahid have been one of the industry stalwarts and have been in this particular ecosystem and solving complex problems for a long period of time. So yep, warm welcome guys. So the topic for us today is beyond the beds, where identity meets intelligence. So it's a core thought of the overall business which we are driving right now. The overall ecosystem is evolving at a very rapid pace. And with that, what we have seen over a period of time is that the shift in the thought process of the marketeers has been very rapidly changing. With that, we'll kick off our session today. So, as everyone has been talking about AI, and that is one of the important touch points which I wanted to talk about with both of you. So, now we see that the AI is core part of the overall programmatic stack, where we are moving beyond the bid optimization. So I would like to check with you, Zahid, that what has been your AI strategy for programmatic, and are you currently using it to move beyond how reactive marketing is done to predicting what can be the future?
Hi guys, audible right? Yeah. So I think see reactive is has been kind of obsolete since a decade now. It's all predictive, right? And starting from first of all, who is the customer? Second, how much amount of credit I should be giving it to a customer? Third, propensity of a customer. Fourth, channel of a customer. Fifth, will this customer be rejected after the risk team starts analyzing the customer after documentation submission? So every element is predicted. Okay. So today I don't think people are kind of falling for someone has clicked on a creative and then after that I'll do a remarketing. Okay. So that's a very afterthought. What people are actually going for is a complete prediction of a quality audience base and then working on a communication which will be a real-time nudge to help the customer on board and go ahead with the journey. Okay, so that's how AI. So if let's not mix generative AI with proper AI that has been always been existing, right? So AI has pretty much been put into practice by us since almost a decade now, and I think we were the first banks to give you a loan in 10 seconds. And when I'm talking about a loan in 10 seconds, that is not about, it's not about your approval or it is not about showing how much amount you can get. It is actually the loan amount will come to your account in 10 seconds. Okay. And that is all happening because be it the customer profiling, be it the amount against your name, be it the journey. It's actually just a two-step journey. Okay. All have been predicted against your name and now we just communicate to you the loan. You are pre-approved for a loan for this amount. So any amount that you're taking within that amount, within the denominator, okay, you get in 10 seconds. So that's the level we are in terms of predictive analytics. Okay, and that's how programmatic is. So programmatic is just an extension of the prediction, right? And that's where we are in terms of predictive modeling.
Great. So Andy, as part of the agency ecosystem, what do you think has been the major shift when it comes to the machine learning, which eventually transformed into AI? Has it been from a audience intelligence, and obviously there is generative AI into play, which adds a lot into the personalization, the creative optimization as well. So where exactly are you seeing the most tangible benefits for the clients when it comes to the AI implementation?
So look, I'm glad I've already done a large part of my career and there's little left to go because I think the way we are seeing AI disrupt every part of not just marketing but business is significant, right? And I think the agency ecosystem is no different. So, we built our own, what you call as workflow within our organization, which is completely enabled by AI. So right from identifying category insights, audience insights, to identifying what budget a client should spend in order to achieve a certain revenue target, all the way to channel choices and what budget you should put on each channels in order to get a certain integrated reach, is all being driven by AI, right? So I think it's pretty much now core to the industry. And look, machine learning has been around on Google and Meta for many years, right? So I think AI has always been some part of our life. Like you said, 10 years, it's nothing new. I think what's exciting is with Gen AI and the ability for now smaller teams to build agentic solutions, your ability to automate things that were previously required a lot of manpower time has gone down significantly, right? So you're able to automate things quickly. I think what that's helping is that a lot of the people within agencies are now going to start being able to spend a lot more time on things that are much more important. For example, understanding business complexities of challenge of clients, right? Today, I think the marketing KPI has shifted completely away from, what we call as vanity metrics like awareness and brand health measures, etc. All marketing folks, and I'm sure if you're sitting there, the only question the CFO is asking you is dhanda kitna hua hai, right? And the truth is that no longer are clients talking to us about saying, oh, how many impressions did you get? What was your CTR? Those are gone. Those conversations are not happening, which means that a lot more conversations are happening around business. And in order to be able to do that, AI takes away a lot of the mundane work. And AI is also helping you make better predictions for your clients related to their own business, right? So I think the world is changing. It's changing both on the client side, like a bank is a treasure trove of data. And even on the agency side, more and more AI is becoming part of your everyday work.
So does that impact your skill set for hiring right now? If you're looking at that perspective, how do you how has been the shift from hiring media planners to now focusing on the skill sets which comes with AI?
Look, I don't think the issue is really with media planners. I think there is a crisis today in terms of any organization of what kind of people you need to hire, right? Because in every organization, AI is automating a number of tasks that were previously done by human beings. But I think the one thing that we look for in an agency is obviously you need people who understand data, are able to look at data even if it's on a dashboard and make significantly relevant recommendations to a client. But you also need people at mid and senior management level who are able to delve deeper into a client's business, understand business challenges, and then be able to look at orchestrating media solutions to solve for those problems. Because like I said, the CMO today is being only asked one question by the CFO and the CEO is you spend so much money, what's the impact on business? And to enable a CMO to answer those questions on the back of media spends, we need people who are able to have that appreciation of both the business as well as what is media doing for that business, which means analytics, ability to look at attribution studies and make recommendations to a client, ability to work with ad tech and martech solutions to kind of improve the quality of media solutions you're giving.
Yeah, in fact, just to add on to this point, today the role of marketing has changed. Okay, with digital coming in, what's happened is marketing was supposed to be a horizontal structure. Now, revenue is also coming in as a part of marketing because digital is an offshoot of marketing, but it's actually driving hardcore revenue. So it's a very convoluted setup in every organization now. Okay, so the CMO's job is no more restricted to horizontal structure, leading to brand consideration and leading to only brand saliency. Now, I think pretty much in all the CMOs are driving a hardcore business target growth also. Now, here comes the challenge of how you are positioning marketing's role as while you are horizontal, how are you driving business growth also? And to do that is where the whole data structure has to be in place so that we can justify the business spend and consider the new KRA matrix of this team in a much more better potential manner. Yeah.
Thank you. Another thing which I wanted to discuss, since we see there are a lot of new platforms which has come, and obviously the larger players are walled garden, like be it Google or Meta, and we discussed Yahoo DSP as well, which is another DSP. So how do you manage, Andy, the fragmentation of the media when it comes to programmatic? There are a lot of DSPs into play. So from an agency standpoint, what is the view in terms of what recommendation to the clients to manage these fragmented medias and look at the holistic marketing standpoint?
I think there's no simple answer. The truth is that it is a complicated world out there. And like you rightly said, every month there's a new DSP launching, promising you a lot, right? So I think, look, the fact is that eventually 70% of your clients' budgets goes into what we call as your basic building blocks, which we know are going to contribute to an end result, which could be a business KPI or another KPI. 20% is where you spend money on potentially new partners that you maybe tested 1 or 2 campaigns. You want to test more campaigns and scale up. And then you keep about 10% of the budget to actually try out something new. And honestly, 70-20-10 or 80-25, whatever you do, it is kind of a mantra that you have to use, because the truth is that if you put all your money in only Google and Meta, it's definitely not going to solve your problems. But you can't spread your money across 10 different partners, because then you're not operating at scale, you're not testing and learning. So I think test, learn, scale is a simple mantra that you use for all your clients. But in a broad principles of budget allocation, 70-20-10 is how we look at it.
Got it. And Jahid, if we talk from an HDFC perspective, you have a lot of customers already. You're the largest customer base from a banking standpoint. How do you manage your campaigns frequency to the audiences in such fragmented world? Because obviously maintaining that on different platforms, so cumulative frequency for your campaigns, how do you look at this from a fragmented media standpoint?
Not sure if you have cracked it fully, but we have tried to create a brain called CDP. Okay, now what's happening is what we do is we don't run the campaign on the platforms. We have created an audience segment where the entire segmentation of the audience is in the CDP. And we plug in all the pipes of the campaign platforms from there. So it's technically the fragmentation of the platforms are broken by the CDP, where all the CTRs, impressions are getting reported back to my CDP, and the orchestration rule is set up in the CDP. So then it helps us to kind of, in a much more cohort manner, address customer frequency, customer suppression, which is more important. Very interestingly, I was going through, I was checking on some e-commerce platform, rather D2C, social commerce. The size is not available, but they last 25 days, they have been constantly showing me that t-shirt. And I have been clicking it every time to see that my size has come back or not. Though I have notified that I want this size and notify me back. So people today are not applying suppression rules. So technically, if that size of mine is not available, I have to suppress till the time my size comes back. Now, so for us, suppression rules, frequency modules are all being set up at the CDP level, then which gets fragmented across to all the campaigns. Otherwise, yeah, there will be a lot of exposure. It'll be inundated. Yeah.
So if I have to talk from a media efficiency standpoint after implementing the CDP, what kind of uplift you are seeing basically delta in terms of efficiencies?
Let me not get into the channel level efficiencies, but let me tell you that if we, so like let's say banking, distribution is the highest, sales, branch banking is the highest, then there is phone banking, second highest, and digital revenue is the third revenue stream for the bank, right? Now, in 3 years since we have started, we have, in some of the products, we have become the second highest contributor as a channel. And our cost of acquisition is at least 1.5 to 2x lesser than any other channel compared to the bank. So I think that's the efficiency that we can drive, being one of the digital pro channels, right? Yeah.
Significant. So yeah, coming to the last bit, as we discussed about audiences and the segmentation, I wanted to check, since you already have a data clean room established, is it in collaboration with some partners, or you're building it on your own? And what is the kind of efficiencies that is helping you drive? What are the kind of segmentations you are looking at when it comes to data clean rooms?
So data clean room, yes, obviously it's with a partner. Okay, I don't think we should invest in again the entire tech from scratch. Okay, it's so many partners. We should all work and collaborate. Not everything should be in-house. The way we are looking at data clean room is we have our own first-party audience, right? Now, based on my first-party audience, how can I extend it to the new to bank or new to prospects? And get a sense out of that audience base, right? To get a more better lookalike targeting. That is one part of it. But more importantly, we are using the entire data clean room to get measurement metrics up and running, right? Technically, when we do a brand campaign, let's start on an area I was discussing, let's say you do a brand campaign. After the brand campaign is over, you will sit and do a post-facto analysis which geography gave us the maximum spend. But you know what? We did not do so much of exposure in that geography because your budgets are already over now. So if you do a ADH setup along with your CDP, That is where you will really get to understand that which geography is actually getting you your budget comparison spends versus your business. That is where it actually helps you. So let's say, I'm just giving you this example. I am spending more on East because my digital consumption is huge on East, but my business is not happening so much on East, right? How can I immediately take into consideration that and spend in the right places where I'm actually doing more business? So now your campaign efficiencies are no more on click-throughs, on landing pages, on coming and offer scene. It's end-to-end business metrics. And mind you, banking business is also offline. So technically your offline data mapped to your online data, to your campaign platforms, and that's where you are getting the entire ecosystem in one place to have a complete 360 view of your campaign efficacy to your business spend, which is even offline. And that's how we can then optimize to see that what's the real efficacy of your campaigns. And that's where if marketing is horizontal, when CFO asks you, dhanda kitna hai? And if you are banking on a last click attribution, doomsday for you. Okay. No CMO can ever justify a last click attribution led business metrics because that will never come to you. The sales guys will always have a way to find a way to ensure that even the traffic that you have got, it's getting attributed to them. Right? So hence, you have to have two-pronged approach. A last click attribution for your digital revenue channel and a holistic measurement protocol to ensure that the impact of your marketing spends on your banking overall growth. That's the way you have to set it up in your own organization to say that, digital or overall marketing and its impact on the real ROAS. Yeah.
Got it. And Andy, what is the biggest challenge which you face while collaborating with the client in terms of establishing this CDP? Because that is a complex animal to deal with because there's large data set involved, privacy parameters and all of it. So what are the challenges which an agency faces while setting this up?
So I think the first challenge is to set expectations, because a lot of times when clients invest in AdTech and MarTech, they expect it to suddenly solve all their problems, which is never going to happen, right? The fact is that if you look at the last 3 years, AdTech and MarTech spends in the world are coming down because a lot of the promises made by platforms are actually not fructifying into reality. So now let's come to challenges. I think the first thing, I think a lot of clients' ecosystems are extremely complicated and data is lying in multiple silos. And any data-led MarTech platform will only work well when you have data which is clean and in a relevant form that you can ingest into the system. So the biggest challenge one starts off with is actually identifying all the data silos, normalizing the data, ensuring you're able to clean the data and then get it into one place. And a lot of times, if your project is 12 months, 5.5 to 6 months is only just doing this exercise, right? The second thing is, even when you set up a CDP or a clean room, there's data coming in from multiple sources, right? But clients have multiple partners. There'll be some partner managing the website, there'll be some partner managing landing pages, there is a performance agency, there is a upper funnel digital agency, there may be an in-house team running campaigns. And all of them are fundamentally driving all the data into one ecosystem. But let's say, for example, there's maintenance happening on a website, or let's say one button is changed and they haven't really reinstated that button, and data suddenly stops coming from there. Immediately what happens is the data coming into any solution, whether it's a clean room or a CDP, gets disrupted. And somebody has to keep an eye on all these different sources of data, which is a very, very challenging task. And often enough, if you are the partner that has set up that piece of tech and you're responsible for running it, it becomes your responsibility. So one, getting the right data, getting all the required data cleaned up, then ensuring that the data streams are all properly piped and they continue to feed data in. And then after that, of course, is running scenarios, right? Again, for example, if you set up a data clean room, it's not a magic box. You have to have the right kind of talent on your side and the client side, because often a lot of the data that's available with the client may not be privy to the agency because it's first party data. You may not get access to it. So the client may actually have to do a lot of work in-house, push that data into, let's say, a piece of, let's say, MarTech like CDP, and then only the agency can work on it. So collaboration with the client's internal data scientist team or their tech team becomes another critical lever that has to be run well. And I think the last piece, like I said, is results. I think ensuring that clients are patient and they give time to that piece of equipment to actually start delivering results, and meaningful results is something that you have to always push back on. Because a lot of times if you set up a piece of tech and in the first 3 months, the client doesn't see a disproportionate difference, management starts losing faith. Look, we have seen over the last 5 years different pieces of tech come in, right? There was CRM, CDP, customer intelligence platform, blockchain as a tech. Now it's clean rooms, right? And every 2 or 3 years, something new comes on the block. Management pushes down on marketing team, says, implement karo, let's change the way we operate, what you call a digital transformation. And anything, any new tech in a legacy ecosystem takes time to work. And I think one of the biggest challenges to my mind is getting senior management to recognize that it's going to take time for that impact and making sure that the key stakeholders are patient and give enough time for the team to deliver results.
Makes sense. And from a measurement standpoint, Andy, do you think, like Jahid mentioned, that last click attribution is no more decent enough parameter to look at? So do you recommend Triple M as a model to be implemented?
No question at all. I think the world is, look, who does last click benefit the most? It only benefits the publishers who are driving that last click, right? And we were just talking about it. In the last 10 years, we built an ecosystem of young people who have learned digital skills only from 2 key platforms in this country, across the world actually. And everything that they do and everything that they say and every conversation we have for them is speaking from that platform's point of view. So the fact is that last click is the biggest, I would say, lie of the digital world. I think the fact is that consumers behave not by clicking on an ad, but consumers start thinking about a product the first time they are exposed to a product. It could be an outdoor site, it could be a television platform, it could be a TV ad, it could be a video you see, it could be an influencer video that you see. That interaction itself is the first reason why you think about a brand. Now, how do you measure all these interactions? I think the best way is to look at not just the traditional MMM, but now you have agile MMMs, which are built by AI, and what they allow you to do is continuously ingest data so that almost every month you're able to keep refining the engine, you keep able to refining the attribution model, and it tells you exactly which channel is contributing to your KPI of sales, right? So to my mind, any advertiser which is at a certain level of investment, of course, you can't be a small advertiser and say, I want to do an MMM. It takes a maturity. You have to have at least 52 weeks of data or 3 years of monthly data to do a meaningful MMM model. And I think if you're able to do that, it will change the way you look at different channels and different points of interaction with the consumer in terms of driving sales. I'll give you an example. There's a client of ours. They're an NBFC brand. They spend a lot of money on TV, some amount of digital, and a fair bit of money on on-ground activation. When I say on-ground activation, this is not taking a van across the country. This is promoters giving leaflets to potential customers in every single small town across the country. When we did a Triple M, the contribution of on-ground activation, because it's done at scale and consistently, was equal to the contribution of television, and both of them were higher than digital. So the reality is that we are a very diverse country, right? Digital, etc., all these nice shining objects which are thrown in our face, but real contribution to business can be coming from a channel you currently do not even think about or ignore. And I think the only way to answer that is really econometric modeling.
Thank you, Andy. I think that's a very interesting point, and we will wrap up on this particular note. Also, guys, so as Andy and Jahid rightly said, that though we are dealing with a lot of complex data, and we should have multiple hats as a marketer to deal with such complex problems, but in essence, we should not miss out on the core marketing hat that we wear, creative front, communication front, that is also very important. So yeah, on that note, let's wrap this up. Thank you, guys. Thank you, Jahid. Thank you, Andy.